It's one of the most remote locations on Earth. On January 24th to 28th, a businessman from Britain flew to Singapore and then back to the Swiss Alps before returning to England. However, in his time here, he spread the virus to at least 11 other people. And so, if COVID-19, the novel coronavirus originating from Wuhan, is in the Swiss Alps, why wouldn't it be in larger cities like Philadelphia, New York City, Boston, and other major suburbs in New York? This place is so remote and hardly any population at all, yet they're experiencing an outbreak of COVID-19. Bringing into the question, is this in New York City? Is it in Buffalo? Is it in LA? Authorities in America say that so far there's only a handful of cases. We're being told that the amount of coronavirus cases in the Swiss Alps is equal to all of the cases in America. I find this extremely hard to believe. Compare places like New York City to the Swiss Alps. New York City has over 9 million people. How many people does the Swiss Alps have in those tiny villages? Barely any. So why are we being told that New York City doesn't even have one case of coronavirus? Millions of people visit New York City every year. Hundreds of thousands of Chinese flock to the city for tourism. Many even work here and fly back and forth between the East Coast of the United States and China. New York City has one of the largest Chinatowns in the world. But many people simply will not believe that New York City is even capable of hosting a virus like COVID-19. Let me show you pictures of where I live. Look at this. There's confirmed and suspected cases all over Western New York, but the government is telling us there's not even any in New York City, a city hundreds of times bigger than places like Watertown and Rochester, New York. But don't take my word for it. See these local news articles that prove that there's people under quarantine, people being tested, and people that do have the virus all over these very small towns in Western New York. Every day it seems like more and more cities in Western New York and upstate New York are quarantining people and testing them for COVID-19. The Tonawanda Fire Department in New York even alerted the public that we are testing people for coronavirus and they picked up somebody from China they suspected to have it. There's a great deal of Chinese people in Canada crossing over the Peace Bridge into New York State. Even this man was admitted by prison officials to be suspected to have coronavirus. However, he didn't want to get tested and the state just released him. They don't know where he currently is and he's not in quarantine. He may be infecting people right now. The state just simply doesn't care. The border with Canada is extremely porous and no border protocols have been set up yet. Even a doctor going into Niagara Falls straight from Canada that was highly sick criticized the protocols. Look at these places in western and upstate New York. There's confirmed people being placed into isolation with suspected and confirmed cases of COVID-19. Do you really believe that small farm towns like this in western and upstate New York are testing more people for coronavirus than New York City itself? I find it highly unlikely that these neighborhoods have more people confirmed and suspected with the virus than all of New York City. Something's going on when my hometown is testing more people for coronavirus than New York City. And so even though I'm offering proof like these websites and press releases from government officials saying that they won't tell us if there's any confirmed or suspected cases in New York, and I'm offering these websites telling you that they're testing for people in western and upstate New York, people still refuse to believe that any of their cities could possibly have coronavirus.